All right, last weekend, Arc Raiders dropped their server slam, and the extraction scene will never be the same. I think this game is pretty fun. I think overall it's just a really good time. I'm going to break down some of the things I really liked, some of the things I didn't like so much, and just talk about the game before launch. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the slam, all that kind of stuff, and let's jump into it. So, first of all, I want to start with the combat. I think the combat was super fun in this game. I think that's one of the highest praises I can give the game, is I think gunplay just feels really smooth. Anytime I got into an altercation with a robot or with another player, the game just mechanically feels great. I was pulling off some really cool shots across, I had a heavy rifle at one point and I was shooting across at another guy and he was trading fire back with me. And all of those moments, very cinematic, very fun. I just think the gunplay is very smooth. It feels crispy in good ways, all that stuff. And then visuals are great in this game. The whole Mad Max, deserty environments, all of that stuff, all of that is very pretty, very nice looking. Then maps themselves, I think the maps are amazing. Just the landscape, the big buildings, all of that stuff, it just really puts you into that world very well. And then for quests, I thought the quests were fun. I was doing some of the just quests, some of the, I was doing some of the progression systems, testing things, crafting things. The quests were fun, gear upgrades were fun, all of that stuff. Overall, I just have had a good time with the game. And then, servers, for how many people were playing, I never really had any server instability. I never really had any graphical issues, I don't think. I may have had some drop frames with sometimes or something like that, but yeah, the game never crashed on me. I never had any kind of real issue with anything other than maybe again some drop frames here and there. All right, so obviously we need to talk about some of the negatives of the game. I don't really have too many negatives. I felt like PvP was pretty good. I had a couple times where obviously I got run over and stuff by a team or something. But for the most part, PvP feels pretty good in the game. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities to, hold your ground. I had some gunfights I won, some gunfights I lost. I had some times, there was one point where I was fighting a guy. I think this was that same encounter where I was using the heavy rifle to shoot across at a guy. But he actually ended up juking me out, and he managed to get away, and I didn't know where he went. And I honestly think that's really cool. This game has so many different pathways and so many different things that this guy actually managed to get away from me, and I was right on him pretty much, and that's cool. I enjoy that about this game, is that there are ways to counter players and stuff like that. So overall, I think the game is fun in that regard. That might annoy people. I know some people don't like the idea of somebody running away from them while they're in a combat scenario, but I think it's pretty cool that this game offers that much, customizableness in its gameplay. One map was kind of hard to get a full feeling on where this game is gonna, go ultimately, but I thought that map was fun, and it's cool, and if all the other maps are, about as good as that, I don't think that's a bad thing. I've seen some people complain about, obviously, and they complain about this with any kind of beta or server test or anything, that progression isn't carrying over. I didn't really think a server slam was going to have progression come over. A lot of games have these betas, server tests, and, the stuff doesn't typically carry over. Every now and then we get one where stuff doesn't. I know this is very close to launch, so I can see where you might be like, hey, I want my stuff to carry over, but I'm not surprised it's not carrying over, so I'm just mentioning that because I've seen some people complaining. I don't really think that that's that big of an issue, but, that's the way things go. Some things I've also seen people saying, I've seen people saying they want more PvE incentives, players want, rewards for, teamwork against arc threats. I don't think that's a bad idea. I know this game's already kind of forgiving, though. They're already handing out, resources through, the Rooster system, and there are, there's a way that you can pick a loadout that's randomized that you can always have if you are out of resources and stuff. And honestly, I think those systems are pretty good on their own, and I kind of actually like those systems. I kind of like that if I don't have anything, I can at least come in with some kind of loadout, even if it's not a great loadout. because it's all randomized, so you don't know what you're getting. So, you might get something that's bad. But I think that's a better system anyway. I don't think, like, there's anything wrong with having, like, things reward you for doing a good job. Like, if you've survived for a while and you're, being a good part of the team and stuff, maybe there should be some kind of light reward system there. I don't know. Then, obviously, voice acting. There have been people complaining about AI voice acting. I agree. They probably should just hire real voice actors. I don't really know why they're not, because I don't feel like this is a heavily voice-acted game. So hiring a couple voice actors really probably wouldn't be that difficult. So I agree. Hire some voice actors. That's about all I got on that one. Expanded maps and biomes. I think this game is beautiful. I think the environment fits really well. I think that we have a really great base level maps. I do agree that I would like to maybe see some more maps come in the future that have more variety, more tree areas, maybe a snow area, just more biomes. Again, I think at the start of this, with where we're at and all that, this is fine. I don't really have any complaints. But I would like to maybe see some more biomes in the future, some more interesting maps, maybe some more cityscapes, like where we're actually in a city, not just in like a place with some buildings. Yeah, I think all that would be really cool. Roadmap, I've seen this as a complaint that people are saying too, that they want to know more about like post-launch. Apparently, I guess I don't actually know where this is stemming from, but at some point Embark has claimed that this game is a 10-year game, which means almost nothing because tons of games have called themselves 10-year games and they've failed or they've just not updated as to 10 years, But yeah, sure, 10-year game. I'd like to honestly see, what's coming post-launch. Obviously, I agree we probably should get a roadmap about at least like the next month after launch or something. But again, as we get closer to the launch day, like maybe like the day before or the day of, they'll drop like what the next month looks like. I don't think that's crazy to think that that's something that could happen. So yeah, I hope we see that. But I don't have a whole lot of issues with it. I hope it's just something that we see soon. Overall, the game's fun. I think the PvP is fun. My biggest complaint right now, I think the robots can be a little over the top. A lot of my deaths have come from I've gotten hit by like 4 robots at a time, and it's just very hard to counter that situation. Throw in PvP, and that's nearly impossible. So that's my biggest issue, and like I feel like they spot you so easily. Like I was hiding in a bush and got seen by a robot as I was trying to extract at one point, and I think that's just a potential problem. I also, in this point, wanted to mention Marathon, and this is kind of a sidebar. I know this doesn't fully fit this, but I do think, like, Ark has really been handed a silver platter here, because if they can actually maintain this game, I do think that they have, obviously, strong foundations here, and Marathon's in a really interesting place of, I would not want to be in their shoes right now. I think it's going to be really hard to launch a game against Ark. I honestly wonder if they're trying to kind of wait out Ark, but I have no idea how long they'll have to wait. And that's dangerous because they've already supposed to had their game out. Their game was supposed to come out in September, and they pushed it back. So yeah, I am curious. One of the reasons I bring up Marathon though is that like I never played Marathon, but I saw a lot of people saying that like their PvE was actually pretty good in that game. And that is one area that I think maybe Ark could actually learn from Marathon, is maybe making their robots a little, I don't even want to say easier, I just think more manageable. Like, I just think that sometimes you get hit really hard by them. Like, I'll be sneaking and I'll be seen, or I'll have 4 of them come at a time or something. I just wonder if limiting that a little bit more would make that a little easier. But yeah, again, I think Marathon maybe has a little bit of a benefit there. Yeah, overall, I think this game's good. I think this is going to be a real competitor in the extraction space. For games like DMZ, The Divisions, Dark Zone, Marathon, I know those games, Tarkov, I know those games have really been popular with certain people, and I think this game is obviously going to stand out among those as a good game. A lot of people have seemed to have enjoyed it. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk kind of openly about some of the elements that I've liked, some of the elements that I didn't like, and what I want to see going forward. I'd say the biggest thing is just the robots. I'd maybe like to see that get balanced in some way, more mechanically than difficulty, I guess. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope this video wasn't too rambly. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, please leave a comment. Subscribe if you want more videos about Ark and other topics. I do a lot of FPS stuff on this channel, but I cover lots of games in general, so if there are other games you're interested in, check out previous videos, see if there's anything that, you're interested in, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.